So I'm delighted to be here today. It's a slightly different format, but as a junior, we like the fact that it's saving us some money from the travel. So Pelangio's been an gold exploration company. I'm going to have to move along pretty quickly because we actually have 5 properties. So 5 properties, 10 minutes. So what I'm going to say is I'm happy to talk to anybody who wants to afterwards. If you just give us a call at the office or send us an email. So we too have done this before. We're big believers that the cyclicality of the gold market is a big driver of your success in this industry. And our previous sort of big win was Detour, which we bought at the bottom of the market, eventually spun it out to Detour Gold, kept 50% of the equity, and for many of our shareholders, that was a 100-bagger. While that was going on, we were acquiring some great camp-sized properties, because that's what Detour was as well, some great camp-sized properties in Ghana. One of them at Manfo, we made 7 discoveries and have a 500,000-ounce resource so far. And Obuasi, where the blue sky is just sort of unlimited. And then more recently, as the market was bottoming, I guess you say, we saw an opportunity to really get back into Canada. I grew up in Timmins, so the ability to get some projects in Timmins is really exciting. So we acquired a number of projects in Canada. We acquired a prospect generator with 8 projects in Ontario. And so bringing us to where we are right now, 5 key projects, Grenfell, Kirkland Lake, Dome West, and Dalton in Timmins, and Obuasi and Manfo in Africa. All of these are in prolific historic gold belts close to big mines. A little bit about, who we are. 53 million shares outstanding. Insiders and families have a significant stake, and I really want to point out our technical team. Kevin Thompson was with Newmont and Perseus, about 20 years of experience in Ghana primarily, but all of West Africa. Sam Torcorno is Ghanaian, he's got an MBA and a geological engineering degree. And Kevin Philo was with us when we did Detour the first time and came along when we did the recent acquisition of the private company. So it's a pretty exciting group to be working with. Along with the timing is location. So let's start with the Ontario side. Grenfell, 10 kilometers from the Macassa mine in Kirkland Lake. The Dome West property, 800 meters from the Dome mine. And we joined both the Dome property and the Paymaster. Dalton property, 1.5 kilometers from the historic Hollinger mine. And in Timmins, that's where our exploration has been focused in the last year or so. And Ghana, the Obuasi project, which is beside the Obuasi mine, which has produced 30 million ounces, but has another 36 million ounces in resources. So we're talking a 66 million ounce deposit. And our Manfo project, where we made 7 discoveries and have a resource. So let's talk first about Kirkland Lake, because that's the most recent drilling. So at Grenfell, we announced we just got onto the property. First program for us, 314 grams over 1.74 meters near surface, nice high grade, and also a broader zone of near surface mineralization, 2.5 grams over 26 meters. So really nice to see. There's been work here sporadically since the 1930s, a little bit in the 70s and a little bit in the 90s, but most notably in the 30s and 40s. They sunk a shaft, did some underground workings. There were 2 bulk samples, 21 tons of almost half ounce from a surface trench, and 177 tons of 0.7 at a 60-foot level. So we're really excited to be getting back there. We just got started. So we will be beginning our follow-up drill program there in a couple weeks as soon as we get the creek crossing permits. Our Timmins Gold Camp properties, Dalton and Dome West, we had planned, you'll see we say here we were going to get back there in July. In fact, that's going to be delayed till about September. We're so close to the Dome mine that the mine actually owns the surface rights. And given COVID, they've sort of stopped everybody from coming onto the mine property. So we've had to delay that. That's really the only impact COVID has had for us so far. We got the property about a year ago, put one hole in just to meet our commitment. So luckily that one hole, at least we intersected 7 veins, got some gold, and most importantly, we encountered the stratigraphy from both the Dome and the Paymaster. So we'll be going back there in September. Dalton, which is 1.5 kilometers from the historic Hollinger mine, we're just getting started there as well. Airborne, MMI. So we're doing very, very well there too. And halfway through, boy, do I have to move for you guys. Manfo, that's where we have our resource. So those 3 blocks in the right are the resource blocks. That's a 9-kilometer trend where we made 7 discoveries. We're going to be doing some soil because there's another trend off to the west that's barely been looked at. So we're going to start there with some infill and some extensional soils. So that will happen after our Canadian exploration. And Obuasi. So this project is a monster. We're beside a 60 plus million ounce deposit. There's 284 square kilometers. So we're talking truly district scale. And when we started, there really wasn't a lot of exploration. So we've done a lot of target generation. We developed a lot of targets. You can see part of the list there. Everything that we've encountered so far has shown Obuasi style mineralization. You can see some of the grades, 24 grams over a meter. But what I'm going to show you is an animation, which I hope is going to come up. And it it really illustrates our thesis. So, when you have a number of structures coming off from next door, we think that something will have leaked onto our property. So let's take a look at Ghana, because it is one of the most historic mining regions in the world. It's now, sort of one of the biggest gold producers in Africa. The historic Ashanti Belt is where gold was first discovered. A host of producers along that structure, although there's been multiple other belts since discovered. Here's the Obuasi mine, now 36 million ounce resource, 8 million ounce reserve at over 8.5 grams, the surface expression of the pits, and there's our land package beside it, 284 square kilometers. So we're going to take you underground. Well, maybe not yet, but first of all, we're going to show you the structures running off of the mine. You can see here as we zoom in, some of the shafts, some of the workings as we go along. So that's where the 66 million ounces is located. In fact, they just did a recent redevelopment, so they spent a lot of money, and there's a new recent development that brings it to the extra 8 million ounces. We were able to fly a VTEM off of their property so we could follow the structures across and onto our project. We haven't updated this to include the extra resources, the 30 million now to the extra 36 million ounces. So this is on what was already existing. Each one of those chutes, there's 13 of them, each one of those chutes averages between 3 to 5 million ounces. The gold is our property boundary. So you can see those series of 13 chutes along those structures that run into our property. So, the theory really is the fluids that are going through all of there, and there's a little typical of the geology and the Obuasi fissure and the Cote fissure. Here you can see the structures running into our property. So basically, the thesis is we think that some of those fluids could very well have leaked across the structure, seeing as they don't know there's a property boundary there, and come onto our property. And you can see here some of the work we've done so far, much more to come. Basically, the story is good management, good team, good properties, and experience with lots of room to grow. Tremendous, tremendous blue sky, all in safe jurisdictions. And if people have more questions, I'd be happy to talk to you offline at some point. And of course, here is our disclaimer, which you can take your time to read at your leisure. Thank you very much.